Taking it sweet time, and we're live. We're live.
What's that?
We're live.
Right now?
Yep.
Why'd you do that? I wasn't ready.
Oh, what is that? Give me a second.
Who the fuck hired this guy?
They're going to hear it
supposed
twice.
to be the IT guy. I've got the two IT guys on the show right now, and I hear background noise.
I got it now. We're good. We're good now.
Look at Ability. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. Well, hey, listen. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Thursday Throwdown. As always, I am your host, X to the D to the A to the L to the Y. We are here, and this is the face of a man who is not defeated. It's not defeated, not quite yet. He's down, but he is not out. We're going to talk about what is surprise teams today. I assume that my team will get brought up today. 1-7-1. Anyways, listen, before we get into that, as you can see, I'm running a little bit different. Listen, when you're 1-7-1, you've got to change things up. The couch has been fucking misery. So I decided to move up to the bar top. So we're here. Anyways, enough about that. Let's introduce the rest of the panel. Bailey Cortez, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I mean, I'm finally in the new setup here. I'm down in Tennessee instead of in New York. I finally got my computer set up, my whole desk set up. I'm running off wireless everything, which is a pain in the fucking ass. But I got an electrician coming this week to kind of get me wired. But I'm just happy to be back in the swing of things. I'm happy we got Throwdown back-to-back weeks now. And it's going to be going again now that we're in full swing of things.
And the next guy is a guy that I feel like has been Casper. We'll call him Casper because he's still the friendly ghost, but a ghost nonetheless. Ability. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. You know, I remember the good old days, okay? I remember the days when the Throwdown used to be, okay, the longest episodic running show. I remember those days.
It is right now. It actually is right now.
That's right. I'll tell you what.
Back-to-back weeks, it is right now.
I love that, okay? We are again the longest running episodic show in 239 history, okay?
Hold on, man. You're right. Let me redo the intro. Let me redo the whole bit. Hold on. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Throwdown. As always, I am your host, X to the D to the A to the L to the did it Y. Your longest running episodic show in 239 history. And we are here. Just kidding. We're not going to do the introductions again. We've got some stuff to talk about. It may not be as long a show. But we are going to touch on some topics. So we're here. And Bailey, Bailey checked in last week on the road. I respect the hell out of that, by the way. Anytime you can do the bit when you're not at home, I love it. Shout out to Cosmic for filling in, helping last week. Pale Poner, as always, is a monster. Agent was supposed to be on tonight, but literally, and I quote, I'm having supper. That was 2 hours ago, Agent. Pull your head out of your ass and get up here and help us. Anyways, listen, a lot has happened over the first couple weeks. And I want to talk. I'm going to jump right into it because I don't want to fuck around. I want to beat around the bush. Surprises through the first 3 weeks. There's a couple things happening right now. Surprises through the first 3 weeks. I'm going to send it over to you first, Cortez. What is anything, a team, refrain from players, but something specifically with the teams, whatever, that has surprised you thus far in season number 8?
Well, actually, surprisingly, it's going to be a team that's tied for first place, and it's going to be Josto's team. And let me tell you why. I thought Cosmic was going to have a rough year or a rough season having to carry this squad, and he's doing it, man. Like, he's helping this team out. Blue Line King's doing his job. Josto missed that series. Like, that's not me riding on your team, Dales. You know, I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I mean, they got a series sweep without their captain. Like, they're doing good, and they're doing a lot better than I thought they were going to. I mean, it is the start of the season, granted, but it looks like it's going to keep going forward. So, I mean, they're kind of a surprise for me right now. I mean, you got teams like Thamps is no surprise that he's got almost half the same roster from last season. Schwartz, we all knew would be up there. I think a big surprise right now is your squad, man. And Ability, you're going to have to help me break this down with him. I mean, he makes a trade. He trades the rookie Shea for Quantum Tech so he gets a little more defense from the center. Okay? And then he's got himself and Tony Amante aka one of the hosts of the East Sober Elitist that hasn't been live in a few weeks. And they're up there on the front end, and they're not getting it done. And then you look back on the back end, you got True Therapy and Wingles, both at righty and lefty. And then you got Slicky Slick back in net. They're not getting it done. 1-7-1. That is the biggest surprise to me. I actually thought this team and No Regretskis had the best lineups going into the season, and right now it is not looking good. So those are my two best, or not two best, but two surprises so far this season.
Now, Ability, I'm going to rephrase the question. I know you've been down and out for a bit here. How do you feel about seeing an XDALY team currently sitting 1-7-1 in the standings and knowing that he could have drafted you this season?
Yeah, well, I think that's the kind of statistics you'd expect to see when you pass up on either an elite forward or an average goaltender. But I'll tell you what, man, either way, I was going to bring fire to this squad. It upsets me a little bit because I really thought after winning a championship that the great esoteric had been awoken. And what we've come to see is that maybe that's not the case. I don't really know where the biggest problem lies with your squad right now. But it is surprising nonetheless to see that you guys have started the season the way that you have. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. Is this consecutive seasons you've done this now?
Yeah, I didn't draft last year, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you kind of draft. Okay. Anyway, I mean, it is a surprise, but I think my number one surprise, if I had to pick one team that, I mean, if you heard me on draft night, I wasn't really giving this guy much props at all. And that's got to be Derek Cortez. And I got to be honest with you here. I'll take this a step further. After watching some of the picks he made, I wasn't for sure that he knew what he was doing. But I'll tell you what, this team came out and they're firing. So I don't know if it's friendship or #Chem. But Cortez, man, I mean, you got to throw me some words about what your mentality was on draft night and how you feel about your team right now, because what you guys are doing, it's surprising.
Well, so when I went into the draft, I didn't have a plan of I knew Tom was going to be my number one guy, and I wanted the center that could win the draws, that could play defensively, but also score. I knew Tom just needed kind of a supporting cast that could play his style. So immediately I told myself I'm probably going to be playing forward. And from there, I need to grab a defenseman. So I went and grabbed Dub. And from there, the rest of the draft was all about who had hockey IQ, who could be a finisher, who could be the position that they need to be. I got to the third round. There were 3 right wingers I had in my head, and not a single one was Swag. And then I got to the pick, and I was like, oh, wow, like Swag's here. And the guy is always in the top part of the league for goals or assists or whatever. Not really assists, but mostly goals. And he can always be as a known finisher. Like, yeah, he takes some penalties. Yeah, like he had that strong personality at some point. But he's one of the best guys on my team right now, not just points wise. Like he's being a leader in the chat and everything like that. And it's from there, the whole time of drafting, I just said I want guys with hockey IQ, because if you have hockey IQ, you can basically almost play any position on the ice as long as you know where you're supposed to be. And over time, you can kind of adapt to it.
Okay, fill me in on something else here. Another curiosity I have, because I've never played with the guy. I don't think I've ever talked to the guy. Elliotism. Okay, what's the story on this guy?
So this guy is an absolute gem. Let me tell you, I can't believe I got him in round 6. It's because he's a rookie and he didn't really get, many people didn't really get a chance to see him. I mean, I didn't even get the chance to see him. I just knew when I was in round 6, I was like, I need an extra defenseman in case Dub misses because he has hockey, or, I don't really have a permanent right D yet. So I need to take one of these extra guys that can play defense. Of course, things don't work out. So I end up taking him. And then Wizzy's internet connection goes fucking bizarre, like 1,000 ping the whole time he's playing. So he sits himself out, and I get this Elliott guy in because he's on. And I'm telling you, this guy, easily a 4th or 5th round talent in defense, his first season already. And this guy, it's going to be a hard battle on my team for who's going to be on the starting roster. Like, hell, I might not even be in it. I don't even know yet. This guy's pretty good.
So I'm going to backtrack because I'm going to use my platform to call out my own team. And it starts with esoteric. You got to stop playing fucking scared. I'm serious. You need to get your confidence back. You need to stop playing fucking scared. I'm over it. I'm done with it. I fucking picked you number 8 overall. I need better. End of story. Quantum Tech, I need more defense. You're great in the neutral zone. You're great at the puck. I need more defense. True Therapy, keep doing what you're doing. Quicker passes. No one to jump. No one to stay home. No one to be aggressive. Read off your players. Wingles, pass puck faster. Got to move it faster. You're working on it. You're getting better. Got to move it faster. Slicky, man, you got to save the ones you're supposed to save. And Daily, you need to be way better than what you've been. That's my team right now. Can't seem to put it together for a night, but never out. Down, but never out. We'll talk about that later. But I want to touch on Cortez's team. I think that a lot of teams or a lot of people, when they saw Cortez's draft after, the draft, obviously, when they saw it, they're looking, and again, there's a lot of utility, there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of players on this team who can play multiple positions. But who is truly extraordinary at any one? That was the argument. That was the thing. Who is truly extraordinary at any one position? And you look at it, yes, Tom FTW is a great center, but we've seen Tom struggle over the last years, which is why his draft stock definitely fell and why he was able to get picked up where he did. I think Cortez did a really good job of the IQ, and I think it's something him and I have talked off air about. You can't teach people to do certain plays or to see a game a certain way. You can help them and you can guide them, but there's that vision and that smart and that, you can't teach that. You simply can't. So getting guys with high IQ to me is a big way that I draft pretty much every single season. Obviously that hasn't done me any good right now, but it is something to look at, guys who definitely have that IQ. I think a lot of it is based on the game that you want to play. I want to touch on McSwagger. McSwagger is always vocal and great when shit is going good. But when shit is going bad is when he seems to, and I love Kiefer, but that's when he disappears and you don't hear from him. He was on a couple bad teams mixed in there and he was very, very ghostly, but he has resurfaced. Obviously, success is a big part of that. And again, so shout out to him on the revive and getting back after it this year. So I'm super excited for Cortez. I always love an ability. You can attest to this. I love when first-time captains get out there and have that success, because there's always doubters and there's always people saying like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, or maybe a guy who isn't valued as a first round talent, like, oh yeah, how is he going to draft a good team? But having that ability, no pun intended, to be able to draft a team and kind of put your bias aside and say like, yeah, I want to play here, but like, I think that Cortez did a really good job in building a team. Another thing I want to touch on, and it's not really a surprise team, dare I say, excuse me, but it's a team that I wasn't sure on, and that's No Regretski's team. And the reason I wasn't sure on it is because obviously Dan being taken where he was, playing the position that he is, and conversation I had with Dan about him struggling to adjust, getting caught flat-footed, watching plays, different things like that. They've really figured it out. That team, I believe, has won 6 in a row. Brian is leading the league in points by 2, and he has games in hand, and pretty much everybody except for Schwartz, they're scoring, and they're scoring at a really, really nice clip right now. So I imagine that will continue moving forward as well. So I'm happy to see him. He's had, is it 2 rough seasons or just one? Just the one rough season, Earl.
That was the Rule 1.
That was the Rule 1 Earl season, but I'm happy to see them getting after it. I also, I'm not surprised by Marty's team, but I didn't know how it was going to work, because obviously you had McFly and Hugh. Nobody really knew who was going to play right D, and it's worked out. McFly stood back there. They played really well. They got swept last night, but the series seemed to be pretty close. So he seems happy with his team. I think his team looks good as well. Sniper's been pretty solid in net. BTW, welcome to the web, are going to be your sources of offense there. So they seem to be doing pretty good. So that was another team that I was kind of, again, not necessarily surprised, but when you see a potential hole and a team work around that hole, I think it's always really exciting, something very cool to see that. So shout out to Marty and his boys as well. Let's move along here. I want to talk about impact players, and an impact player can be anybody from an all-star, somebody who's a first rounder, to somebody that you kind of didn't expect to be doing what they're doing. I want to start the debate off because it's a guy I think that we're all very familiar with for different reasons. That's Amazing Viper. So Amazing Viper, I stole yours. You know why I stole yours? Because I'm the smartest motherfucker there is.
That's all right.
Has that, but
that's all right.
I want to talk about Viper and his journey. Now, this is a guy who back in, I think, season 1 or 2, he was on DJ's Dumpster Fire team. That was before I Soldier Up knew how to do anything on the fucking sticks, by the way. Anything. He was a mess. A fucking mess. So now you have I Soldier Up drafting Viper. He's on this shit team. I think Nick the Greek was on that team. They were miserable. Just miserable. Joke. And you watch the evolution of Viper and going on that team with ability where he was traded for OP Jelly and the the Dailies Rejects, to, being on We Give 60 and that team, really, really struggling. He was on other squads in there as well. Just never seemed, he was with, I think, No Regretskis, just never really getting that fit. Well, he finally gets into a system where he can really be the trigger man. He can really focus on just scoring goals. And right now he sits 7th in the league in points, which to me is fantastic. He has 16 goals, 9 assists. So when you look at those numbers, Thamps is obviously controlling a lot of the plays, a lot of the carries. They both like to get out in space. I don't want to call it cherry picking, but they both read plays and they go. You have Russ, who's playing that two-way game. Even his points are up a tick this year. So Viper is really reaping the benefits, but I do think that his game has come a long way. So when I look at impact players and guys who are truly making a difference, you can't stop and not recognize what Viper's done. So Cortez, a guy that you're familiar with, what do you feel about Viper? I obviously stole your name, so go ahead and kind of build off that.
I'll break off Viper a little bit. Like I'll break down Viper a little bit, and then I'll go into another person. The thing is with Viper, before this season, Viper kind of did the same thing every time he was in the zone. He'd either kind of throw the puck around the boards or he'd do that between the legs deep to get in. And it was kind of readable. And I think he's kind of changed that around this season, playing with Hockeytown and Thamps. And I think it's working for him. And I mean, and like I said, like what I said about Tom, you need a guy that is good. He just needs a supporting cast that can work well with their style. And I think Hockeytown and Thamps give Viper that chance to be that player. And I think that's working for him now. And that's a great forward lineup there, by the way. Like those three forwards together, especially if Viper's supposed to be that third forward and he's leading the three of them in points. Like that's, he might be leading him in points. I think Thamps is actually higher, but either way, he's doing his part and he's doing amazing. The other name I wanted to go to, though, I'm going to take it to a different, completely end of the spectrum, is Link Runner. This guy gets out of the waivers his first season and plays as a starting goalie on that same team. And this guy has a below 2 goals against average. He's at like 1.67, and that's in 12 games. Like he has the best save percentage. He has the best goals against average, and then he has the second best save percentage behind Tomahawk. Actually, behind Tomahawk for full-time goalies, but it's by 0.01. Literally, it's literally by that. And I think this guy, for his first season out of waivers, getting his his first shot at being able to play at a full-time position, he's came alive and he's doing great. And I hope to keep seeing it from him because we'd love to see these guys make a name for themselves. Like another name I want to see him do great for himself is Marine Mike. I won't elaborate on him, but either way, Link Runner, like great job in net so far. Hopefully he can keep it up.
I want to talk to ability. I want to go back to Viper just because he's somebody who's very familiar with. How do you feel about, obviously you're not following it, you're working a lot. I understand that, but how do you feel like hearing a name like that, a guy that, you had on your teams, different things like that, and how successful basically we're saying he's been doing thus far in the season?
Sure. Well, I want to reiterate that, when Viper was on my team, Viper, I think it was through 7 or 9 games. It might've been 12. He led the league in average points per game, and it was something stupid like 3.7 or 4.2. It was 4.3. It was ridiculous. I didn't trade Viper because I didn't think Viper had the tools. Okay, that was a totally different scenario. I love Viper. This guy too, he is coming out and I think having a great season so far, averaging just over 2 points a game. I mean, I like everything that I'm seeing on paper here. I do think, though, that that's a little bit shy of the 3 or 4 points, average that you had when you were on my team. So I don't know what that has to say, but perhaps maybe you're supporting players over there like Hockeytown and Thamps can ramp it up a little bit for you. But, I want to say, too, about Link Runner. First off, I got a bone to pick with the kid. And I love Link Runner. I've known him longer than all of you, actually. I met him over in a different league. But man, you got to calm down with the chirping. If you have a bad night, you have a bad night. Leave it at that. I don't want to jump in the fucking shout box and see you bitching about some shit. Okay, I do it. That's my job. That's not your job. Okay, leave it at that. No, he's having a great season so far. I think a lot of that is a testament to the defense that's on his team. Shock and Hellcat, those two. Shock is a great player all around the ice, and I don't think he gets enough credit for being that type of player, but he is, in my eyes. I view him as that type of player. He's always bringing it no matter where he's at. Rev, last season, I felt she really stepped her game up, and that's just it's transferring into this season too. So this team, man, this entire team that Thamps put together, probably one of my favorite. I mean, I like it. I don't know if this team can actually contend, and I'm saying that truthfully. I don't know if you can, but I like what you guys are doing so far. Keep it up.
Well, I mean, talking about Rev, I feel like she's taken the next step. We talked about it last season a little bit. She's taken the next step into being that solid number one. She doesn't overcommit to plays. I know, like, when we played her the other night, it was just a chess game. It was a chess game. And yes, Russ is always back. That helps. So there isn't very many, 2-on-2s or whatever. There's always support, but she doesn't overcommit to plays. Now, the big thing with Shock, sometimes Shock likes to hold it a bit long. It's every D. There was a couple times that in our series, and again, I can only go off of like our series from what I see, where there was some EA luck on both sides, but there was a couple times that we could have breakaways going the other way off just kind of silly left trigger moves in the D zone, where Kayla's like boom, 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 move it. Shock, that's kind of the risk reward with the guy. Sometimes he can make some really, really great plays. Sometimes stuff like that happens. So if he cleans that up, man, this team has been playing together for the last 4 to 5 months. When you really take into account everything that's kind of happened, you have Kayla, Russ, and Thamps being the core of that team. Viper's been mixed in really nicely. Shock's been playing more than adequate. He's been good for them, and Link Runner's been playing really solid. So this is a team, in my opinion. Look at Chili Con Carnage. That's a team that's been kind of they played together the one season. They started off 1-8-3. By the way, I know another team who's not doing so hot, so don't count anybody out. But that continuity, the familiarity, knowing the players that you've been playing with, 5 months, 4 to 5 months, or whatever it is, I'd have to ask Thamps, but better part of a season and a half, that those 3 core members have been there. And I think that the team this year is actually a hell of a lot better than it was last year. So I really like what they've done. I really like what they've put together. I like the unit as a whole. So that's going to be a tough team moving forward as well. This brings me into my next thing, Dark Horse. Now, we've obviously talked about some of the teams. We've talked about the 2 top teams. Cortez, you guys are up there. Can you stay up there? Can you hold it? You've beaten some, pretty good teams with some pretty good players. You have Joey Stopet's team, whose people have said is a surprise, but they can't really be considered a dark horse. They're currently tied for first place in the league. You have Thamps' team sitting in second, 1 point back. Schwartz's team is at 12 points. They've got some games in hand. And then Dominator Silva has 12 points, no games in hand. But after that, 11-11, who's a dark horse for you with the season going on, and why? I'll send it over to you first, Cortez.
The team for me is 100% Drug Monkeys team. They come out and they have their first series of the season last night, and it doesn't go their way. I mean, they go 1-1-1. They end up losing the series, but they still get themselves 3 points. Now, we got to remember, Drug was in the hospital, and luckily he's all good and he's out now. But their team had never played together. They literally hadn't had time to play together, nothing, and I don't think they got to warm up before their series even, too, if I remember Drug telling us that. But, I mean, you got Rye Guy, you got Ozzy, you got Belial. That's a great forward lineup. You got Drug Monkey, who's one of the best defensemen in this league. And with Daly playing forward, if you're arguing probably top 2 right now at right D there with Chelsea. And then the whole, to me, though.
He's top 2 even when I play D, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, Daly, fuck you then. But to me, the whole here is Headless Frangu. Now, I was listening to the show last week while I was there, while I was in the car there. Obviously I was on it, but I didn't talk the whole time. I've seen him play. Guy's a great guy. I just don't think he has the hockey talent. Now, other people will tell you differently. From watching him play to playing against him to playing with him in some games, I don't like what I see.
Whoa. Hey, so sometimes when you move to Tennessee, you get AIDS. This is what happens. And Cortez,
if he can kind of solidify his play a little bit more, I think this team does a lot better. Even with Marine Mike and net, listen, Marine Mike is still going to do a solid job in net. He's not going to give you stellar. He's not going to give you poor. He's going to give you average goalie.
Cortez,
what are you guys doing? What?
Cortez, when you moved to Tennessee and picked up your AIDS internet, dude, it just literally you cut out for probably a good 15 seconds where it was like,
sick. Is it good now?
Long enough that Daly took over the show again, and then you mysteriously came back, just continuing.
Like I'm sitting there and I was chirping you. I was about to get into the Washington Capitals bit, and then all of a sudden you come back to life and you're like, oh, hey, look at me, I'm back. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is a thing. So I'm sorry, Cortez, whatever the fuck you just said, not one single person heard it. So
can I say it again?
I'm gonna hope that your Tennessee internet holds up. This is me. Look at me praying to the gods that you give this a second run and it works out nicely. But I do want to introduce a member of a 1-7-1 team to the show. Chew Therapy, welcome to the show. And he has no sound.
Yes.
What the fuck is happening? My God, I'm about to rage. Chew, let's try it again one more time.
Hello?
Okay,
You're
we're
a
gonna go back.
fucking mess.
Hello?
This is what no, listen, when you're on a 1-7-1 team, these are the kind of things that happen.
Really
You fuck up at life. Like
You're
today,
good. You're good. We can
today,
do it.
I almost shit my pants today. I literally almost shit my pants today because it was like I thought it was something that it wasn't, and it was a thing, and then it almost happened, and like that's what happens when you're on a 1-7-1 team. You almost shit your pants. So, Cortez, I'm sending it to you. I need you to redo the bit.
Yeah, I got you.
Hopefully, getting Tennessee AIDS. Go.
All right, so my deal is this team is good. You got Drug Monkey in the back end that's going to be able to carry the workload. You got a great forward lineup that's going to be able to do everything they need to do. The hole here is Headless Frangu. I've watched him play, I've played against him, and I've played him, and I don't like what I see. Now, other people have different opinions. I just didn't like it. And I don't – maybe it's a rookie season thing, but I just don't – I don't know. You can see guys that have the potential and some that don't, and I don't think he does. And, I mean, I hope he proves me wrong. But I think that's a big hole for their team. Like Marine Mike is a hole of itself, but he's not going to give you stellar goalie and he's not going to give you bad. Like he's going to be an average goalie, and Drug needs that, and that's what he got for where he was at in the draft. So realistically, if Headless Frangu can put his game together and Drug can really carry that workload of defense, this team could be the dark horse of the season because they should be a great team.
Chewy. Are
Yes.
you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Hey, welcome to the show, man. We're so happy to have you.
Yeah, I made it out of the bathtub from last night, fortunately. I got a very kind blood donor, so.
Oh man, it was rough, man. It was rough. But listen,
That's
I'm
a
happy
word.
you're
I don't know if-
alive. Do you want to do a really quick? Will it make it better or no? No.
What do you want me to do?
A re? You want to do a re?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just do it randomly in the show somewhere. You got to do it.
Yeah, at some point. Now, ability, man. Give me a. Hold on, I have to phrase my question specifically for ability. This is like a thing.
Look, man, I got a dark horse. Okay, I got.
Let me hear it. I know it's gonna be. You ready? It's OP Jelly. Go ahead.
No, it's not actually. Okay, I considered OP Jelly, but you know the fact of the matter is this: he drafted D-Swish, and because of that reason, that team's not going anywhere. Okay, that's it. End of story there. My team for the dark horse is Yambag's team. Okay. Because this team, now come on now, hear me out. I understand that Yambag notoriously, for whatever cursed reason, just doesn't have the luck of the draw when it comes to putting together a solid squad. I don't think that this team is necessarily his fault. I think he put together a good squad, okay? Brick City, Odd Guy, Jofus, McGilla, Yambag. Okay, that right there, man, that's a solid squad.
Should we tell him Brick City's not on the team anymore?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he got traded.
I'm taking Schwartz.
He's on Swatz's team now, but he did get surprised me, right?
Wait, I'm on Schwartz's team. What?
Wait, who got surprised me?
Jelly. Not Jelly. No, Mac. Okay, Jelly got Brick.
What the
Mac got Surprise Me and Epic Sandwich. Yam got Pogs and Peaceful Bob.
There you go, ability.
Okay.
Now what?
So with that being said, wait, hold on. Who did Yam get? Who did Yam get?
Yam got Pogs and Peaceful Bob.
No.
So why don't you just go and pick Jelly like you were going to?
I like that. I like that, man. Because McGilla, look, McGilla's got I felt like when we played their team, I'm not being mean to you, McGilla. I just felt like you were the person we could attack. You were the weak link, and it wasn't because you were playing bad defense. It's just because there was some what do you want to call it? Yeah, where you get stuck, you know, he got flat-footed too much, and we were able to take advantage of that. McGilla's got to find a way to counteract that because everything else he does is great. But I think that he leaves the door open on a few opportunities for other teams, and that's probably been what's burying Yambag's team a little bit. Not just McGilla, but I'm putting he's kind of like the drug monkey on this squad, in my opinion. Jofis too, I know that he was playing a little bit of defense, and he wanted to move back up to the forward line. And that's probably not a bad idea because I think odd guy refused defense, right? So like they can't make that switch. But truthfully, I wish that didn't happen because if you threw odd guy back there with McGilla, I think that defensive pair holds up, whether it be for Kinky or it's Peaceful Bob or whatever. I mean, the defense would have held up stronger. So I really think this team has a chance at coming back. And what the fuck, Brick City? I mean, Jesus Christ, man, you couldn't pull out a couple wins here.
This face you see is the face of a man who has won 7-1. That is a fact. But this is also the face of a man who is very confused by what has just happened. And all in one breath, he says, McGilla, I'm not trying to say that you suck, but basically you suck. And then on top of that, he literally just compared Drug Monkey to Yambag. I am 115 million.
Whoa, let's clarify this real quick. I said McGilla is like the drug monkey of Yambag's team.
Not yet.
Okay, I've never done this ever in my decade of doing this. Ability is in timeout for the next 3 minutes. So he is in timeout for 3 minutes. He has now left the show. I've never had to put somebody in timeout. Mark, I'm sorry. Pharmacist Mark, that should never happen. Not Mark Siegel, not Yambag. Other Mark. Real Mark. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what he said. Ability has walked off. The green screen is bare. Cortez, go ahead, man.
So the thing about Yam's team is I told my team it too, and they kind of disagree. I think Yam's team got better without Brick, and that's no diss to Brick. I just think the biggest hole for Yam's team was his goalie. He had no goalie. So we got Peaceful Bob. This guy just won a championship last season. Now, no matter what anybody says about Bob, he's a good goalie. Like he can stop a puck. I mean, they won a championship together. It worked. So he gets a goalie now where they can have a little bit of confidence. I'll tell you, my team played like absolute dog trash last night. Where
I don't want your built-in excuses, Cortez.
I wasn't trying to say anything to it. I was just saying we played bad.
Okay,
They're lucky to come out with the wins, is what I was saying. Like they played great. I mean, Jofis is the star of that forward lineup. Pogs definitely complements it and helps. And then I feel odd guy needs to find what system works for him. If he gets into the zone, the first thing he does when he gets over the blue line is back skates. Or he just tries to do something and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I fucking can't stand it. He used to do it on my team all the time and drive me nuts. Sorry, I'm just.
Well, I mean, sometimes it works. I mean, sometimes it works, but it's every time
though.
Exactly,
every time.
And I'll tell you, defense is the struggle for this team. Like we played awful, but we still found our ways to get in when we shouldn't have. Like we couldn't make passes, we couldn't do proper shots, nothing. But we found our way to win the game, and I think Ability said it great. If McGilla finds a way to correct his game, then it points everybody towards Yam's side, and then when everybody goes to Yam's side. I mean, Yam likes to go for hits, but when I played him last night, he wasn't really going for any until it was after the whistle. I mean, his team lost all 3 games, so I don't care that he hit me one time after the whistle. Like, they still lost.
Yam's better than he gets credit for. Yam just doesn't give 60. Yam makes 1 or 2 mental plays every game. He had a whole team dedicated to him being like that. But here's the thing you cannot dispute about Yam. He is a good player, and I am 100% with Cortez in this deal. Sometimes it's not about the players you get back. It's about the chemistry you have with the players. And sometimes you have to lose a trade to win a trade. And I know that doesn't make sense to people, but I mean, it's the thing is sometimes you have to maybe give up the best player to get the best return back. So you go out, you get a guy like Pogs, who you know is going to give you a true 200-foot game. Melo is an offensive dynamo when paired with the right guys. And I think that Cortez nailed it. Pogs is a better complement to Melo than Brick is. Brick has a style that isn't really hockey based. It's, hey, skate around, let's get open. It works. Like there's a reason that Brick has success with certain players and doesn't have success with others. Like he has to be with the right players. Melo's very similar to that. Melo likes to have that low board cycle game. He likes to keep that thing moving. looking for that open trigger. They're just very different styles. That's why it didn't work. So I actually like the trade too. I think Yam's team improved as well. But will be interesting to see. Chewy, what do you think, man, about some of the moves? I'm kind of leaving it up to you.
Yeah.
What do you want to touch on? You want to touch on Yambag's team? I know we talked a little bit about the trade, but what do you want to touch on?
The thing I liked the best out of that three-way trade was Mac finally giving Peaceful Bob somewhere he can play. The guy earned it last season, and it's like Dom sitting Crips. The guy deserves to play.
And the thing was, I think he got good value. Like I really,
I agree. He improved, definitely.
And that's the thing is like in this crazy world, and I'm not trying to put more time on this trade. Like I get where Dom's coming from. Like you don't want to just give a guy away. You need to get value. So I understand that. I think this was a perfect opportunity where Mac was able to get value for Bob. He knew that there was teams in this league that had goalie problems. There's a couple of them. So he was able to get a deal done. Yambag, shout out to Epic, man. He tried his fucking ass off. He's just simply not a goalie. And then when you take into account the defensive issues that they were having, is it any surprise that they were getting drummed by like 8, 9, 10 goals? No, it's not a surprise at all. Like that's what you expect. Like this is a highly competitive league. You cannot throw a guy who has never really fucking fucked with the position at all, and then on top of that, have a very broken defensive system and expect him to stop pucks. He's not going to steal you games. You have to help him. Mac ends up getting surprised me and Epic back. Epic's going to get to play out now. Mac slides back in the net. He's already upgraded. No offense to Bob, but Mac is a goalie. So he is truly better in net. Takes himself off forward where he's really, really struggled. Goes back in the net. And now he's got Epic playing out in a forward position. So now you have Chelsea and Mac on the back end. And that's a really scary thought because of the layers. I always talk about layers on this fucking show.
To my knowledge, it's actually Agent BBX and Surprise Me. I forgot who the lefty is off the top of my head. It's whoever they had.
That's going to be
Chelsea
Epic.
And Mac.
Epic's going to be the D then, right? You imagine Epic.
I would assume so. Yeah.
He probably end up playing. I'm sure Mac will message me. I know he listens to the show, so I'm sure I'll hit something here soon. But
let me ask you this question: Who do you think out of the three teams really won the trade the most? Like beneficial for them? I think all three won. I think all three of them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I feel like all teams really got to fill a need. I feel all teams really were able to kind of fill a hole or something that they were having issues with. Ultimately, in the end, I think it's tough. The best player in the deal probably surprised me just because of what he's done over the last 3 seasons, how consistent he's been, with Brick being a close second. But they end up in situations that work not only for the new team, but the players like Brick and Jelly already have that chemistry. They played together last season. They got bounced in the playoffs, but they have that familiarity. Jelly, this sounds crazy. Jelly knows how to deal with Brick. Now, Brick will say it's chess, not checkers, the whole bit, but it works. Whatever crazy dysfunction, it works. Yam gets a more complete, polished player to what he wants to do in Pogs, and I think that's a big thing to take away from that. And he gets a goalie in Peaceful Bob, so the struggle with that is seemingly done. And then Mac goes out and gets Surprise Me, which is, it's good value for Pogs, who I believe he took Pogs in the second round. So he's getting a first-round talent back for a guy that he took in the second round. Not that Pogs is a bad player. I'm not saying that by any means, but it works. I think it works for all teams. Ability, hearing all those trades, man, what do you think?
I mean, I don't really know, man, because we got to see what these players do on the teams. I mean, I like the thought that Mac North picked up Surprise Me, because I think with Agent, BBX, Agent, Bubba Man, I mean, that's a good squad. However, did Kinky go to Mac's team in replace of Peaceful Bob?
No. Bob. Okay, so Bob was playing defense and Mac was playing right wing. Mac wasn't doing the greatest, so he went back in net. So he had to sit Bob in order to do that. Okay, and he felt bad that Bob was sitting, so that's why he traded Bob.
Gotcha. So I don't know, man. I mean, all the names that are on the board there, and including Brick, because I feel like last season, this season, I think he needs to wake up a little bit. I'm throwing this out there, and I know I'm probably going to hear about it but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. I don't think that Brick City of right now and last season and maybe even the season before has really living up offensively to the Brick City that we first met when he entered the league. And I think that's a very truthful statement. Now, you can make the argument that, without supporting players or the right supporting players, there's that. But I almost think that what's happened with Brick City is that he's become so much of a coach for other players that he himself is just losing it a little bit. Like, I think he's maybe second guessing himself or looking for an extra pass. Some stuff like that's going on. And you can call bullshit all you want, but I think the stats speak clearly on this. And you follow me, maybe he'll change it around. Maybe he'll have an esoteric moment where he wakes the fuck up and starts scoring some damn goals, man, because I just think that he's underperforming.
Well, I like that, actually, really, that you said that he's kind of taken that coaching role and that it's kind of taken him away from it a little bit because, the more he's thinking about how everybody else should play, the less he's thinking about how he should play. So I actually really like that idea of – I agree with what you're saying is what I'm trying to get to. I think Brick isn't the same player he's been the last few seasons, and I think he really could have done something different with the Yams team. If he really wanted to be a part of it or if he really just wanted to show everybody that even though Yam picked him and they didn't have a goalie – Brick's a game changer. We can all agree on that. Like, no matter what kind of attitude or anything goes like that or ego, he's a great player, and he could change the game. I just don't think he really gave it his all on his team. And, I mean, he got exactly what he wanted, and he got out of there, and now he's with Jelly, and they'll run their team the way they want. But, I mean, in the end, can Brick do it now for Jelly's team?
And I got confirmation, Epic and Bubba fighting for lefty for Mac's team. So that one's it seems like it's a camp bit. Who's going to win it sort of thing. So, sorry. Listen, I'm getting old. My old age, and I can't hold my pee-pee like I used to. 30 minutes left in the throwdown, I'd be like, all right, man, I'm just going to hold this shit. That ain't how it works no more. I got to go pee-pee. I drank too much water and coffee and fucking whatever. And I had to have it happen. I don't even say shit anymore. You see, I just walk off.
If you had a Chicago Blackhawks hat on, you probably would have been able to hold it at least an extra hour.
Yeah? Well,
a Chicago anything hat over that Boston hat I keep seeing you wearing. Fuck, man.
Hey, how was your timeout, by the way?
I waited a full 3 minutes, okay?
Hey, man, I respect the hell out of that because I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention. But I did see...
Wait, Ability, where's that sign? Half the sign is cut off.
I saw you have a dick up. So can I see...
Hold on a second. I'll go get it.
Hey, make sure you talk while you put that dick on the screen. And this is actual life size of Ability, by the way. Embarrassing, really. But we'll wait and see what it looks like.
Imagine it's actually a lot bigger.
Okay, let's see.
All right, go ahead. Make sure you talk.
It was in green, man. Maybe you couldn't see it that well. Let's see here.
What does it say?
How am I a dick? You're a dick.
These guys are.
Chewy, you are a dick, man.
I am not a dick.
I always see you. See you playing games. I'm fucking playing, and you never invite me. Fuck you, Chew.
I'm not a dick.
No,
these guys are. Listen, I'm not one to pass judgment about how to spell words appropriately, but you spelled R wrong. It was the wrong form of R. I just thought you should know that.
That isn't technically even a form of R, but
yeah, it's just a letter. But I just want to. People always like. Please.
It is R. It is R.
People please
have room for the giant dick.
It's life size, everybody. Life size. So, what else did I have on the docket for the night? Marty McFly is not happy with me right now. Shout out to Marty.
Why's that?
He's just not happy with me.
Well, let me tell you about Marty's team. I think Marty's teams, they got the greatest forward lineup out of all the teams in the league with Hugh, Webb, and BTW. Every player solid. All three could be top 3-round picks. If anything, top 2-round picks with them because Hugh Laurie's a great 200-foot center. I mean, he's kind of dropped down a little bit with other talent coming in. If Marty plays his best game at defense, this team does great. Sniper's a great goalie. Marty has to be that number one defenseman, which he is already, and he has to continue to carry that threshold. And he said it the other night in his own party. If he plays poor, his team kind of struggles a little bit. If he plays great, then his team does great. So, I mean, he kind of has to be that guy that is the game changer for his team, and he can do it. He can absolutely do it. But let's see if he can keep it going when he does it.
There's one team we haven't talked about, and I want to because I look at the roster and I don't understand how they're 1-5. That's Pale Poner's team. Listen to this roster, man. Pale at center, Stradios at right wing, rookie Sonny D at left wing, Beastly Jesus and Rondon Volante on defense, and Derek GNR in net. I look at this team, the -11 mark is what really baffles me because we played these guys in the preseason. Not that we were scoring many goals, but this is a team that really looked polished for being a preseason team. And I look and I know they played Thamps' team, and I think they played two tough teams. Or was that Schwartz? They played Schwartz's team. Yeah. So they've played two very good teams. So maybe that's the start of the 1-5. But this team, you know, on paper, man, I know we were talking dark horse earlier, but I feel like this is my dark horse here. Pale to me is a very underrated centerman. He's a guy that I personally like on my team, would like on my team. He plays the kind of game that I would draft. He's a captain, obviously. I'm just saying his style. Stradios is a guy who likes to get in the corners, likes to cycle, likes to get open for the 1-Ts. Sonny D is a rookie, but there's some familiarity between him and Pale playing in another league together. And then you got Rondon Volante and Beastly Jesus. Now, Beastly Jesus won a cup, and I've heard by many people that he is just disgusting. And I saw it firsthand the other night. He's a very, very good defenseman. Rondon won a cup as a defenseman as well, and he's playing his natural side. Derek GNR is no slouch in net. So, Bailey, why do you think this team is struggling? Is it just strength of schedule, or is there something bigger going on here?
Before I talk with my mic muted, in Pale's own words, before their series, Pale's team does not get on until about 10 o'clock to play. And all of us know, and I know, Daly, you and I are kind of the same way. We hate when you don't get at least one practice game in, because the thing is that one practice game before you all go to play, you get familiar with everybody again. You get to make your fuck up passes. You get to be out of position. You kind of get to see how the breakout needs to look for the night. And if you go into your first game like that, and the first game sets the tone for the entire series. So his team not practicing before the series, that hurts them. Plus, they played two great teams. What'd you say, Schwartz and Thamps?
Yeah.
So Schwartz, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's arguably you're playing two of the best teams in the league right now. You go back-to-back losses. Now they have some time in between series. I think he actually plays my team next week on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's one of the days. They got some time to get some practice in, play together, and figure it out. I think Sonny D is going to have to be better. I played with him. I just think he's got to be better, but it works with Pale. And Pale's a great guy. He's great at the game, and I think he can adjust to anybody he plays with. So him and Rye Guy playing their way, if Sonny D can kind of just mold into it, it'll work for them. But I think that's a great dark horse pick as well.
Rye Guy ain't on that damn team. It's Estradios, you goofball. And I'm talking ability, but I'm actually talking to Cortez. So, Chew, when you look at Pale's roster again, we saw.
Oh, wait, what did I say? Did I say Rybich or Rye Guy?
You said Rye Guy. It's okay. We know you're special. So, Chewy, when you look. Chewy, man, we saw these guys a bit in the preseason. Maybe you'll agree with me. They did look super polished, so the 1-5 mark is a bit confusing. But how do you see this team faring moving forward?
Well, if it's any indication of how our preseason series went and how we're doing, it's not looking good.
I just choked on water. It's a thing.
I don't know. Maybe something's just not clicking like it is with us. I don't really have any words. I'm just here to talk about my team, man.
Yeah. Oh God, he's just ready to just rip it. I guess I'll give you the floor here in a minute. I'm going to send it over to Ability. There's one team that we haven't really spent a ton of time on. That's Dominator Silva's team. And I think we've touched on pretty much every other team here. You got Dalai Lama left wing, Drift King at right wing. Shea, who was on our team, moved over there to play center. And obviously the debacle of, not debacle, but he's got Finney and Rybish splitting time at left D. The right D is being manned by Dom himself. And in net is Tomps. So again, let's not talk about the B Crips thing. Let's not talk about that. I want to talk as if B Crips is the seventh guy and not in the starting lineup. What do you guys think about the starting lineup of this team? Dolly left wing, center Shea, right wing Steven, lefty either Rybish or Finney, right D Dom, and goalie is Tomps. They're 5-5-2. They got 12 points. They've scored less goals than they've given up. Is this a team that you could potentially see being a dark horse? 5% on the power play is a little bit scary. They're not really scoring on their chances. So, Cortez, I'll send it to you. How do you feel about Dom's team, and what do you see happening moving forward with these guys?
Dom's got a good team. Rybish and Finney are great defensemen as well. They play in LG. That's how Dom knows them. That's why he drafted them. They're great. So there's not really a hole in their front line. There's not really a hole in their offense. I think Steve is kind of the weak link out, but still, Steve's good. Steve knows how to play NHL. That's not a problem. I think they're going to make their way. They're going to stay in the playoffs. I just think it's going to depend on where they finish, whether it's 8th or 1st. I don't know. It really just depends on how this team plays. Dom needs to be that solid defenseman because he's got 2 defensemen interchanging all the time, and hopefully he keeps Thomps playing every series. No, I think Cripps is the best goalie in this league. Just keep Thomps playing so he's familiar with the defensive pair in front of him, so crappy goals don't end up going in on him because you got the second best goalie in the league right there playing anyway. So that's my 2 cents. I think they got a great team.
Ability. What do you think about the team that I just rattled off? Do you think this team is a playoff team? Do you think this team can make a deep run? Do you think this is a team that misses the playoffs? What do you think about Dom's team?
I mean, I like the team that that Dominator Silva and Dalai Lama put together. I really do. I think that I would agree with what Cortez said too about Steven being the oddball out, but I think that that's just a little bit of bias because even though I always chirp people for listening to what some of the bigger personalities say about specific players, I think I fall victim to that a little bit too. When truth be told, Steven's really upped his game. I don't know this season if he's really performing as well as he has in the past, but at defense in general, he really is. He's good. So I've got faith in him. Dalai Lama, I think, even though he's leading this team in points, I bet you even he'd say that he's underperforming. There's been too many mistakes made that have cost them games. I know it's frustrated him. We've seen it on stream. And I will say this too, and I really, because I don't give a shit, right? I don't get in all of it. But no matter how good you are, sometimes you just have an off night, an off game, an off moment. And I think that if you had an opportunity to really showcase the defensive and goaltending talent of both players on this team, that perhaps maybe there could be a split time thing going on here that could be more than successful. And that kind of intrigues me too. But I don't know, man. This team really, what it's going to come down to, because I think the defensive elements are all there. I think the offense productivity is what's going to determine how successful this team is. Playoff bound. I mean, right now they're sitting what 5-5 and what
2 5-5 and 2. What you gonna do?
Yeah. So I mean, they got to step it up, in my opinion, because I don't think that they should be at 500 or below. I think that this team probably should be solidified in a playoff spot. We'll see what they do.
Chewy, man, listen, we're gonna deflect. I remember the past the bleach days. I remember those days. I remember the dumpster fire that was Sergeant Lebner on that show. I'm gonna give you the open floor, man. I'm gonna give you the floor to say whatever it is you would like to say, because you popped on here rogue, man. Like I respect that. So I'm gonna give you the floor, man. Whatever you need to say, get it off your chest, give her a run, just go with it. What do you got for me? So
earlier today, Cortez asked me to give my analysis of what's wrong with you plus me equals us. First, I want to say to my good friend Robert Lang, aka Esoteric, aka Tony Amani, things have not been going good for you since season 6. In my opinion, that's because your style of offense from that team translated over into 9-inch males, and it's the same thing with this season. You literally dumped the puck to Brian's side, and that was the play. You'd go that, and then you fly to the front of the net, and that was it. There was no creativity to your game, and it shows. Like, there's been, how long has it been? 6 months of that? So I don't know, something's got to happen there, dude. You got to figure your shit out. I know you get emo on yourself, but please, man, just fucking play the game. Change it up. That fucking stupid LB dump that you do that never fucking works, that just gives it away to the right defenseman every fucking time. I'm going to kill myself if you keep doing that shit, man. Straight up.
So
I don't know why my alarm's going off. Okay.
Wait, was this just a rip on Esso?
No.
Okay, I was just saying, there's got to be more.
If you don't rip on Daly during this is a failed throwdown.
No, I'm sure it's coming. It's fine.
This is for Quantum, okay? You look great when you first came in and we were practicing. What happened to that? It's been a fucking mess. Like you don't see lanes that happen that you did see before. I don't know, like, are you playing on a different camera angle? Is that a thing? Like, are you trying to be Kristoff right now? Because you're better than that, dude. Make good passes. It's simple. You have 2 very good wingers. Well, one when he wants to be, and you have Daly, who's pretty good. He's not an elite winger, but he's pretty good. So if that changes, we might have a little bit of a better chance scoring goals. Okay. Daly, my good friend, you kill us on the power play, dude. I think I can count probably 6 penalties that you've taken instantly after a draw. And it's like, oh, well, there goes the power play. All right. Okay.
Fair assessment.
Wingles, move the fucking puck, man. Does your right trigger not work? Like, here, let me show you what a right trigger is. It's right here. This thing. When the puck's coming to you, you can push it down, and if you release it, the puck goes somewhere after that. Pro tip. Therapy. Okay. I've taken a lot of dumb penalties. Maybe right D early isn't my thing. Maybe I should stick to forward or net. Props to Daly for giving me a shot, you know. Things got to improve. I know I got to improve. Simple as that. And Slicky. Relax with the right stick. You know? Like, I play goalie a lot, and you know you're not a bad goalie, but like you're fucking sliding all over the place. That I can think for one example that fits it perfectly is I have my side covered on the post, so Cosmic's behind the net, and you literally slid into me, pushed me out of the way, and then you're out of the net, and Cosmic has the whole fucking net to come wrap around in. And I'm like, look, all right, man, like, and you said it yourself. I think it was in the FAMP series. Oh, guys, I'm coming off the post. Don't be Legion. Don't be Tomahawk. Be Slicky. Schwartz said that you were a very good goalie. Be that goalie. That's all we need.
Yeah, fuck you, Tomahawk.
Make saves.
It's, you know, it's funny. Sometimes you need to hear this, right? Like sometimes you need to hear this. I agree. I think I agree with most of the shit, man. Hopefully everybody's watching. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that. 1-7-1. So it's not working. So we gotta fix it. Shout out to Chew Therapy for getting on here.
Something I like to add in. I think Chew hit the nail on the head perfectly with Esso. Esso is a great forward. I don't know what happened. I'll tell you, he won a championship against me in net, and I think it's because he played exactly the style Brian needed him to play. Brian doesn't play that conventional right winger. He plays like he has the puck, and he's going to play whatever game and style he wants, and you need to adjust around it. That leads Kyle, a.k.a. whole 7 by there, Holtby there, to play some weird center, and it kind of throws Crispy out of the mix. And Brian has said this to himself. He's like, I know Crispy's good, but it's not working. I'm like, dude, it's because you're not using him as a winger. He's just there. He doesn't know where to go because if he goes plays winger the way he's supposed to, you'll never use him because you don't pass the puck down below the goal line. I mean, he just looks for Kyle in the slot a lot or tries to skate it in. So I think Esso really fit in with that. And I think Esso really got adapted to that. And now Esso's whole style of game needs to go back to exactly what it was before he played with Brian. So I think you hit the nail perfectly on the head, especially for your whole team. I think you did it great.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing, man. We're down, but we're not out. We're coming back. Don't sleep on us. Don't sleep on us. We're coming back. So, anyway,
I wouldn't be on here trying to light a fire under the boys' asses if I didn't give a shit.
That's it, man. 1-7-1. Not gonna happen. So, guys, listen.
Hold up.
What? What the fuck do you want? Do you even know who's on the goddamn team?
Can I do this shit too? I want in on this. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to rip Schwartz? Please. I've been doing it for the last 6 fucking months.
Fuck yes. Okay, here goes, man. Fucking John Monkey and Donnie Wood and Saney and fucking Rocco. And you know, I like Mike Scott. Mike Scott is a fucking write-up. He's a genius. I love this kid, okay? And Pounders hadn't got a chance to really do anything with us yet. But I got to tell you what, all you fucking guys, man, I love you to death, okay? You've been playing great. You know, like I toned that down a notch. But here's the deal, okay? Score some goddamn goal. Fuck. Okay? That's all I've got, okay?
Hey,
let's get it together.
Do you remember when Schwartz does this to himself? He really does. He'll come on and he'll say, oh, guess who's leading the league in points? Look at how big my dick is. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you run into the brick wall that is Jets. I am 50 years old killer. And he shits all over you. And you lose your point league. Schwartz, here's some advice for you. And I can't really talk. My team's not doing good.
2 shutouts and 1 goal in the other game.
Stop worrying about your fucking points, Schwartz. Fuck all. I don't give a fuck about your points. I told you that before. You got a good ass team. Stop worrying about your goddamn points. Anyways, man, that's a throwdown. It's 9:30. We're a little early. I gave the rant session. Cortez, you want open floor? Is there anybody you want to come on or what?
Tomahawk, don't you be chirping. Look, okay, I got to tell you this. Tomahawk comes in our team chat.
No, he's putting Tomahawk's the center of the bukkake now. Go ahead.
Tomahawk comes in our team chat. He goes, hey, can you guys just allow a little less shots? Now, let me tell you something.
Oh,
I'm
no.
the first man to admit when we're doing something wrong or when we suck. And we were playing great defensively. Like, Daly, your team played us. We didn't really allow one-timers. We allowed some outside shots or blue line shots. So I'm like, Tomahawk, buddy, I'm a goalie as well. You like those shots because he keeps you in the groove all game. Like, one's inevitably going to go in. But if you have 5 shots against you on game, an EA goal is probably still going to happen. If you have 15 shots, an EA goal is probably still going to happen. I'd rather you have 15 shots, keep you in the game, make those be outside shots that should be easy saves, instead of 5 shots against you a game that's like 4 of them are one-timers.
Did he really say...
He did. And this, yes, yeah. He's like, can you guys stop letting him shoot so much? Swag comes in the chat, and this is what I fucking love about this guy. Just comes in the chat and goes, Tomahawk, you have one fucking job on this team, and it's to save the puck. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, bet, if your team was under 500 or not first in the league, Swagger wouldn't have said anything. Just throwing that out there. Sorry.
No, and listen. I'm telling you now. I'm already telling you now. I'm waiting. Like, I know it's probably going to happen at some point. But we have literally, there are 5 people on this team that have captained now, including myself. And everybody has been in that leadership role. And Swag knows he gets it from myself. He gets it from Dub. He gets it from Tom. Like, if he does something we don't like, we tell him. And then if I do something he doesn't like, he tells us. Like, it's all a two-way street. And we're all understanding. So,
listen.
Yeah, and fuck you, Tomahawk. Media is coming back alive.
Yeah.
Fuck you talking to the chat. Or
Get raped, Thomas Billing.
Hug the post. Hold on to it.
Take it, Thomas Billings.
All right, listen, guys, vent session's over. I know that was like a little goof at the end there, but I'm going to send around the horn here. Show's over. Cortez, you got anything on the way out?
Just happy to be back on. I'm happy to be in a setup. I'm happy to be going back on the show again. We'll keep it going every week now. As long as I'm here in Tennessee, I don't really have commitments on Thursdays now. So I should be here every Thursday. If Dale's has something
Cortez,
to do,
the argument that I've been hearing, the rumblings I've been hearing is that, Cortez's team's in first place, so now he's all gung-ho on media. But if the team was struggling, would he be
I'd be here the whole time.
That's what I'm hearing, dude. I'm not saying shit.
You know it like I do, man. You and I run all the time with Donnie's Diner. I just know if I'm not here to stream it, the question's up in the air of who's going to do it. So we haven't really done the show. So now I've
been doing it on Hangouts.
But my point is we haven't really done it for the last month that I haven't been able to use my computer.
Okay. Changing pace, ability, because we don't know when we're going to see your ass again. Care to say anything on the way out? Or
congratulations to the job position, by the way, ability. Forgot to say that on here.
Oh, hey, man, nothing's actually concrete yet. I just move on to stage 2. But I appreciate it. Yeah, man, I got a lot going on, but that's besides the point. My love for the 239 community, it's never ending, and that's all you guys need to know. I love playing this game. I love playing the game with you guys, and I love that we all get to fucking just have a blast in this league, whether we're on shit squads like Daly's team or whether we're on great squads like Cortez's team.
Oh, you fucked up. Now you gone fucked up. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I love you guys, man. Just let's have a great season.
Chewy, this isn't me holding. This isn't what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. Chewy, give me something on the way out, man.
Do I need to go get ability like a drool towel? I can. It's literally right there. I can.
I'd expect nothing less. Listen.
Thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man. Listen, this has been another edition of the Thursday Throwdown. We're back. We're better than the other. We're the only media show running. I mean, really, the longest running episodic show. You don't see the elitists on here. Bro Show does their thing once every 8 weeks. Like, this is the longest running episodic show in 239 history, and don't you forget it. So,
episodic show. Sorry. Keep going.
Cortez,
hey, can you spell that for us, Daly?
You live in Tennessee now. Remember that. Oh, God.
Chew, can I get a re? Because I got up when you did it.
With that being said, guys, this has been another edition of Thursday Throwdown. You know how I always say, oh, man, there's a light on this thing. Ready? It's been another edition of Thursday Throwdown. As always, I've been your host, X to the D, to the A to the L to the Y. Thursday Throwdown, out.